Alright, so moving on to number 8. Here we have some polynomial inequalities. We looked at rational inequalities a little bit earlier, and we saw that with a rational inequality, the sign can change either at the asymptotes of the rational function, or it could also change at the zeros of the rational function. Polynomial functions do not have asymptotes, so these problems will actually be a bit easier. We have 27x cubed is less than negative 8. So we're going to move this 8 over to the other side. That will give us 27x cubed plus 8 less than 0. This is a difference of cubes. Hopefully you remember a cubed plus b cubed equals a plus b, same sign, opposite sign, always plus. And so this will factor if we think of a cubed as being 27x cubed and b cubed is 8. This factors to 3x plus 2 times 9x squared minus 6x plus 4 less than 0. For inequality purposes, we do not have to worry about this part. That would have imaginary zeros, but we are only concerned with the real zeros in these problems. So 3x plus 2 would give us a 0 at negative 2/3. So when we make our sign line, the only place that this could change signs is at negative 2/3. It's an odd function with a positive coefficient, so we know that it does something like that. So over here it is negative, over here it is positive, and the answer would then be, when is it less than 0, from negative infinity up to negative 2/3. Done. Negative 2x cubed plus 12x squared minus 18x greater than or equal to 0. So in this case, we can factor out a negative 2 from all three terms. Actually, a negative 2x. That will leave us x squared minus 6x plus 9 greater than or equal to 0. So negative 2x times x minus 3 squared greater than or equal to 0. So when we make our sign line, we must include 3 and 0. What we get here, though, is that it's an odd function with a negative lead coefficient. So we know that it goes down on this side, up on that side. The 0 has a multiplicity of 1, so it's going to cut through. And then the 3 has a even multiplicity, so it's going to bounce. So when we make our sign line, we're going to be plus, minus, minus. What we have to look out for here is this idea of or equal to. Because by having the minus minus, we do have this one point at 3 where that or equal to idea comes into play. So when is this greater than or equal to 0? From negative infinity up to 0, including 0, and then we also have to include this one single point that we have right there. All right, number 10, we have 2x cubed greater than negative 8x squared. We pull the negative 8x squared to the other side. That will be 2x cubed plus 8x squared greater than 0. I can factor a 2x squared out of both terms, which will leave x plus 4 greater than 0. The sign line that we make will include the points negative 4 and 0. This is an odd function with a positive lead coefficient. So we are up, down, we cut through, and we bounce. So we are negative, positive, positive. Now in this case, since we are looking for when are we greater than 0, we are greater than 0 from negative 4 up to 0, not including that 0, because at that point 0 we are actually equal to. So, like I said, you always have to check the actual points that are your zeros, and just make sure that something strange doesn't happen, and that happened in the last two cases. Alright, let's do one more. We've got number 11 here. That's going to be x cubed minus 2x squared minus x plus 2 is less than or equal to 0. Since this is a 4-termed polynomial, we are going to factor this using factoring by grouping. Out of the first two terms, I can take an x squared. That leaves me x minus 2. Out of the second two, I can take a negative 1. That also leaves me x minus 2. So I can take the x minus 2 out. That's going to be x squared minus 1. When fully factored, I ran out of room because I got a little sloppy, but that's why I've got more paper. So we've got x minus 2 times x plus 1 times x minus 1. We make our number line. We put negative 1, 1, and 2. This is an odd function with a positive coefficient, so we know that it should go up over here, down over there. Everything is a degree 1, so we're breaking, we're breaking, we're breaking. So we are negative, positive, negative, positive. Less than or equal to 0, from negative infinity up to negative 1, unioned with 1 to 2.